This week our travels take us here to Julian, California, in the rolling hills about 60 miles to the northeast of San Diego. They discovered gold in these hills about 1870, and this town was hopping. Now it's a favorite RV weekend destination. Let's explore Julian, California.
Hello, ma'am. Top of the morning to you.
We're desert guns out here.
Late in 1869, the California gold rush came to the small town of Julian, when a fella by the name of Fred Coleman paused at a little creek just west of here and noticed something interesting in the stream. A few months later, the first gold quartz ledge was discovered, and hundreds of fortune seekers poured into Julian.
It was a gold mining town, a rough and tumble gold mining town. Lots of saloons, restaurants, kind of like today.
Yeah. The town still celebrates its colorful heritage with events like the Historic Days Outfit Contest, when the town is filled with contestants walking the streets, competing for the best period costume.
This is all period clothes here. Everything we wear, including our guns, are period correct for the late 1800s.
Yeah, let's take a look at those guns. Look at that. What do we got there?
It's a Colt 45.
Colt 45.
They both are. They're replicas. They're made by an Italian company.
Whoa, and you know how to handle one of those?
Oh, yeah.
So if anybody gets out of line, you can take care of it.
Right.
Bloomers.
Bloomers. Yeah.
Petticoat.
And a petticoat.
Skirt. Overskirt. Underneath all that's a bustle. Corset. Bodice. Dickie. Cape. Muff. Umbrella. Hat. It takes me an hour to get ready.
An hour. And how about the cinching involved in the...
It's just like on Gone with the Wind. I hold on to the back of the bed and this man pulls.
Really? Well, that's kind of the highlight of your morning, isn't it?
Yes.
You learn a lot about Julian from the characters walking the city streets during historic days. For example, back in 1870, they didn't have a lot of the things that we take for granted these days, like television.
TV it's this box that you watch, and you can actually see moving pictures in the box. And they used to have antennas on the top. Now they have a cable that goes into the wall.
Oh, okay.
Here's one of the fun things to do when you're in Julian. Take a history hunt. You pick up one of these cards here at the town hall, then you answer the questions, and you drop off the card back at the town hall, and they pick a card once a month. You could win 50 bucks. For example, what is hanging on the Julian Jailhouse Fund post? It's right down the street. Let's go find out. Okay, so here we are at the Julian Jail to answer the question, what is hanging on the Julian Jailhouse Fund post? Keys. That's the answer. Keys. Okay, and then while you're here, you can read the plaque and find out about the Julian Jail. 1914, run by a citizen constable whose wife cooked for prisoners, this jail held suspects often involved with whiskey and/or fists. Let's see what the accommodations were like inside. They look a bit Spartan. Yeah, they're Spartan.
You can catch a nostalgic ride on one of the Julian carriages roaming the town. And you'll also see a variety of RVs coming in and out of Julian from the various parks in the surrounding countryside.
So what brings you to Julian? Maybe some of that delicious apple pie?
Well, yeah.
One of the best places to have a slice of that delicious Julian apple pie is Mom's, where they get up early to meet the demand.
How many pies do you make on an average day?
They did around 300.
300 apple pies. And those will all be...
Apple and variations, yeah.
And those will all be gone today?
Most likely.
And is there a mom?
The place was named after moms, you know, that have come before and will continue.
My mom made some really good apple pie too.
That's it, yes.
Yeah.
You can also get plenty of food in Julian to go along with that piece of apple pie.
And what do we got over here?
Ribeye steak.
And the ribeye steak.
Wow.
Among the other things you learn about Julian at the turn of the century is what happened upstairs at places with names like Bad Betty's.
What would be happening at Bad Betty's back in the late 1800s?
This in a nice word would be called the bordello.
The bordello of the town.
And I'm sure Julian had a few, but they aren't mentioning them.
Exactly. Now they just go with the apple pie. They don't mention the bordellos.
That's a bad substitute for a bordello.
One would think, yes. Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You might be wanting to wear a little more than that on a cold day here in Julian, but yeah, that's a nice one.
The total gold production for the Julian area was about $5 million. At today's prices, that would equal over $80 million. You can get a good feel for what it was like mining gold in the late 1800s on a tour of the Eagle Gold Mine just outside of town.
Well, it's a walking guided tour, and it takes about an hour to do. And on this guided tour, you're going to go through 1,000 feet of mine tunnels underground. 2 mines, 2 levels, they're connected, and learn about the history of gold mining.
This is where the actual gold miners worked. They carved about 2 feet a day. Pretty brutal work. And this, you're saying this color right here, that's the vein.
That's the pay streak. That's what they're digging out.
That's the pastry.
Right.
Yeah, so this is actually contains gold right here.
This contains gold today.
Route 78 leads in and out of Julian, a winding 2-lane road that carves through the surrounding mountains. Along the way, you'll see the vast acreage that was burned by the California wildfires this past year. Fortunately, the area RV parks were spared. The Stagecoach Trails RV Park is located 17 miles to the east of Julian on the oldest road in California, the original Stagecoach Trail through the valley.
It's the Great Southern Overland Stage Route of 1849. Actually, it wasn't put in until 1859, but 1859 doesn't have the same ring as 1849, so that's what they called it. And this whole valley itself, Earthquake Valley, was formed in 1905 by the same earthquake that shook San Francisco.
Stagecoach Trails covers 122 acres with 250 full hookup sites and 60 horse corrals. The park caters to a growing number of equestrian RVers.
And is that a trend in RVing, equestrian RVers?
No, they've been around for years. It's just that a lot of the equestrians are now able to buy horse trailers that seem to have live-in facilities, which is kind of neat. It makes it a lot easier for us.
The RVs under the wide open skies with the horse corrals. Kind of a nice fit out here. You can enjoy the scenery and then head back into Julian for another touch of the old Wild West.
This desperado we're looking for, he's a tricky one. He's probably hanging out in the local saloon.